part 2 of a Houston Calls' a collection of short stories review. We've got Tom Keiger in the house. We've got the High School Never Ends podcast guys in the house. We're at track number 4. So let's just get into it. If you guys didn't listen to part 1, you missed a doozy. So go back and listen to part 1 and then come back and listen to part 2. All right. Track number 4, Elephant and Castle. John, you haven't gone first. You're up.
Yeah. Once again, this is another great track. It's just, there's no lull in this record for me. So like nothing ever drags. I'm just constantly enjoying it when I listen to it. So I'm not going to have much negative to say. Yeah. Elephant and Castle is a great tune.
I feel good because I don't know if there's only one Elephant and Castle or if there's multiple Elephant and Castles, but I know for a fact that Elephant and Castle is a restaurant in Philadelphia because it's right downtown, like on Broad Street. And when you're walking around to different places, I feel like I would always pass it. So if that's not a reference at all, then I'm a moron. But there is definitely at least one. There's one restaurant called Elephant and Castle. So that's what I think is the song title somehow. But I mean, how can you have a pop punk record in 2005 and not have a record that's about different storytelling record and not have one about get the hell out of my hometown, right? There's got to be a get the hell out of my hometown song. And this one is fucking fantastic. I also like the fact that you throw in the like train thing a little bit because there's another track coming up about Amtrak. I think that this one is super catchy. It takes a little while for you to get to the chorus. The chorus, there's like, I feel like there's a verse, there's like a pre-chorus, then another verse, and you finally get, right? So the Calling All Tickets part, I don't think that's the chorus. So there's 2 verses around that. And then finally you get to the Please Just Go Little Girl. The first time you do it is slow. The second time, and third time, the fourth time, it's super fucking fast and upbeat. And this one's a jam. This one keeps jamming it along. I like it a lot.
Absolutely. It's another storytelling song, like Steve says. A lot of visual components to the storytelling. The song seems to be, to me, about a girl named Rachel going on to do big things and go on an adventure that is life and to start anew, get out of her hometown, which might be holding her back, but she's got ambitions. She's going out. This is just another powerful song. And I like that it comes right after Bob and Bonnie, which is its own powerful song. The chorus is so strong melodically and lyrically. I kind of want to go over some of the lyrics real quick. So the lines, please just go, little girl. The city calls to her. This is your chance. This is your freedom. To me, that sounds like fate kind of calling out to her. And then we got, please don't go, little girl. Her father says to her, it won't work out. It won't be easy. And this seems to represent kind of like a tug of war where fate is pulling her one way and her parents don't want to see her go and get hurt because they know what life is about. But those lyrics to me are just so powerful when you listen to them in conjunction with the music surrounding it. But there's also a great conclusion to the story. The final lyrics are, please let go, little girl, of everything you know. You start it now. You've started over. So you get the sense that Rachel didn't listen to her father, did things her way, and the way she felt that she should do them. So it really seems like it's a story of growing up and being a young adult. Just a lot of relatability in this one. And I'd be lying if I said I didn't get a little choked up when listening to this one because, you know, when I was 19 or whatever, 18, 19, when I first heard this song and maybe listening to the lyrics, it was like a song that kind of could motivate you or inspire you to go do the things that you want to do or that calling of yours. So that's what I was thinking of when I was 18, 19. And now when I listen to that song, I was listening to it today and I have a little girl who's 9 and I can see what kind of person she's going to be one day. And when I was listening to this song today, I was thinking, I'm not going to be the father in this song that's kind of like, don't go. I will want to say don't go, but I will definitely let her go be her own person and go figure it out because you should chase your dreams. You should chase that freedom. And yeah, it's just, I think it's interesting how I used to think about that song, 14 years ago, and how I think about it now is just completely different. It's a different relatability. So the song holds up, I guess is what I'm saying. So this one's got a little sentimental vibe to it to me, at least now.
That's sweet.
Yeah,
Very cool.
thanks.
You're gonna make me cry, man.
That is
I think I almost got a little choked up there just a second ago. So please, somebody else go.
Chris.
Yeah, I can go. So, Tom, you didn't answer the question. Steve stole my shtick, so I had the restaurant thing going, but he always does that to me, so that's fine.
How do you know Elephant and Castle?
But because I've been to an elephant castle. I mean, they have them other places. There are other states outside of New Jersey and Philly. There's other places. Tom, is this any way based on the restaurant, or do you have any recollection of what this restaurant is?
I don't have a recollection of the restaurant. It's not based on the restaurant, but I believe, Steve, to your point, there are a lot of the restaurants, many Elephant Castle restaurants. It's specifically named after a tube stop on the London Underground that is Elephant and Castle, because it was written or conceived, at least, when I was studying abroad in London. And so that was when I learned of Elephant and Castle. And then, people have shared stories, Steve, similar to yours, about the restaurant or other places that they've seen that have the sign. It's really cool to see how it kind of finds itself in lots of different areas and different parts, but originally from the tube stop.
That's a much better explanation than just having it based on something that's similar to TJ Fridays.
They
Because
have
that's
really good
basically what it is.
jalapeno poppers.
A lot of shit on the walls, probably.
Yeah, so thank you for clearing that up, and I really wanted to know that, but I really look. It's always hard to follow up a super duper banger song with another one, but I think you guys did that. I really like this song in a different way, though. To me, like I almost didn't want the verse to end. I love the verse so much, like the verse, and I think a lot of that had to do with the vibe. It almost gave me kind of like the synth in it, gave me like an 80s vibe almost. Like I kind of picked that up a little bit. Maybe it's a stretch, but I just loved that sound, whatever it was, that was kind of working together with the synth and everything else throughout the verse. I think the song itself had some amazing pacing and the tempo was spot on. And I specifically love that last part with the synth and the guitar kind of mixed all together. It was super creative and I thought it sounded great. So I think this song was the total package in a lot of different ways. And I was a big fan of this one. I feel like this kind of just it continues the upward trajectory of what I'm listening to on this album. So thumbs up. And also, Tom, I thought you killed it on this one vocally. I thought that for whatever reason, I'm a big fan. I'm all in for when the singer really kind of, belts things out emotionally. And maybe it wasn't belted out, but the way that you emoted on this song, by, in the way you sang, I think really just kind of added to my enjoyment of it. So big fan of that. That was my last note.
So, Tom, a little insight into this song. Is Rachel a real person? And was I at all correct in the plot of this story?
You nailed the plot. I mean,
good.
You were
that would have been awkward, I feel like.
No, you were dead on with the thought process of the lyrics. And I like what you said, or what was said. I think it was just a general theme that we all were thinking about this, is that it's always nice to have that song on a record that's just get out of town, get out of my town. And I wanted to do that. I wanted to do it slightly differently. I'm always trying to think of a slightly different way to do things that are still relatable, because I mean, everyone wants to understand or get what the lyrics mean. And so I kind of just wrote it about myself and just put someone else's name in there. I think that was really how I was thinking about doing it. Like, I'll just say how I'm feeling and I'll just tell the story with just insert name. It just I couldn't even tell you how I picked the name Rachel. It had nothing to, like, I didn't know anyone named Rachel that I was singing it after. It was me.
Well, hey, and arguably it makes the top 2 best songs that Houston Calls has in their catalog, according to Spotify, right? Is it Elephant Castle? Did I say that was? No, Exit Emergency was next. Never mind. Forget what I just said.
I like it better
Where
than
does
Exit
Elephant
Emergency, to be honest.
No, see, there you go.
Elephant Castle comes in third, though. So, talking about other people, the storytelling, it's something to think about out there, you artists writing songs.
It's the most fun one for me to play, guitar-wise. I really like playing the song guitar. I'm a huge fan of palm muting verses, faster palm muting, So Chris, you were talking about the tempo. I just like that tempo, that kind of chugging along. Feels really good. A lot of bands have like that. My most favorite parts of all pop punk songs that I listen to out there would always be the verse. I don't think there's ever a time where I'm like, this chorus is my favorite part. It's always the verse. And Chris, you mentioned about the verse, you didn't want it to stop. And I think even when I think about all the songs on this album and even the other one, most of the time, to be quite honest, I think the verse is stronger than the chorus in a lot of the songs. Because I spent so much time just thinking about it. Because you get a better chance to tell a story in there. Like you could say more. I always felt too much pressure on the chorus.
Well, and maybe that's why a lot of these songs hit so well, because you don't skimp out on the verses. You make them just as strong as what a chorus should be. You know,
just got to get lucky with some choruses here or there.
Yeah,
And
yeah, maybe. But I mean, it basically what it is. It's earworms throughout the whole song, and everybody wants that chorus to hit. But if the verse is hitting just as much as a chorus should hit, and I think you're attracting more listeners that way. People are sticking around; they want to hear more.
I mean, you can throw some hooks and verses.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Bob and Bunny, you were taling about the Bob and Bunny. It's like, where's the chorus? Is there even a chorus in the song?
Yeah,
we're just paying attention to the verse. That's all we're listening to, really.
Yeah.
And then, what, Steve, you were saying, like, the chorus in the song, where is it? It's like verse, pre-chorus, verse, then like a soft chorus. The chorus is like the same chords, but it's not opened up, and it's sung an octave lower, and then it kind of opens up eventually. But there's less emphasis or focus on the chorus in this song, too.
So we got track number 5, Amtrak Is For Lovers. Who wants to go first on this one? Chris, if you want to go first?
I could go first, yeah. So, and I'll make it brief. I didn't have a ton of notes on this one. Look, I ballads to me, like they are. It just depends. It depends, and I don't know if you consider this ballad or not. Slower song, a little bit more emotional. Like, it's not that upbeat type of track, but I'm always up for when you have a ballad mixed with like a power chorus, is what I call it. We just talked about that. I think, the flip side here is for Amtrak, Is For Lovers. I think it's a good song. I think that for me, like that chorus it puts an exclamation point on the song itself. So while I think there's a lot to be said about the verse and about the tonality and the melody itself, like kind of leading up to it, that kind of brought me in. And so I was a big fan of that part. I think also the piano, backing, or the piano backing really just gives a nice extra layer to the track itself that if you took it out, I think it would still be fine, but this just kind of adds something extra that really makes it sound even better. So it's a nice touch, and I just think it was an overall nice song. So good with me. I'm curious to see what you guys think.
Yeah, I always enjoyed this song, especially as a younger man. Just a really good breakup song, I thought. And then I always really liked the line that, I'll let you do this 3 more times and then I'm gone for good. I thought that was pretty clever. But yeah, this is going to rank up there on my list. I really like this song quite a bit. So
yeah, I guess it's the first official slow song on the album. It's the longest song on the album too, coming in at 3 minutes and 51 seconds. Another storytelling track. I like John. Like what you said, it is a good, solid breakup song. Seems like you kind of get both sides of the story maybe on this one. I too don't really have a lot to say about this one other than I really like the singing melodies throughout. The verses are solid, just like the rest of the songs have been. The chorus is solid, especially for a ballady type of song. And I really like the almost quiet whisper singing that you're doing on this track, Tom. It's a nice departure from what we've been getting from, tracks 1 through 4.
I guess that leaves me. I said the last song took a long time to get to the chorus, and this one goes right into it. You're kicking it off with the chorus, although albeit a toned down version of it. I love this story in this song. 3 more chances. She's given him 3 more chances, but then she's gone for good. I feel like this song is so sweet, and then it's so sad. To me, it's after all this love that she put in and all these chances, he ends up just dumping her, and so much emotion in that song. I think from front to back, it's absolutely fantastic, and I have to say that Houston Calls may have been a little bit ahead of their time. I love this song. The song is absolutely fantastic.
It's surprising that you all like this song so much. I don't know if it's that it was such an old song that I'm just tired of it or what, but it's funny because when we were getting ready to play I mean, don't get me wrong, I love that you all are into it. That's really cool, and you're right. This is a personal story I wrote about myself, and this is a very real situation. And so, and actually, this is another one, the piano line at the beginning, that me and my not great piano playing skills, I actually came up with this. That's how the song began, with that piano.
Wow.
You can tell, like, the really basic piano parts, those are things that I probably, like, tried to come up with a toy around with. But all the cool ones are actually Rich playing. But yeah, this... You know, when we're trying to arrange this for the reunion, we knew we didn't want it to be 3 minutes and 50 seconds because, like you said, this is a longer song, and when you play it live, that's just too much.
Mm-hmm.
And so we cut a lot of it out, and I think it ended up being like 2 minutes or 45 seconds or so when we played it at the reunion show, and we loved it. It gave us a new appreciation for the song when we kind of took it. I just feel like there's too much chorus at the end of this song. It goes on so many times, and maybe that's why I'm not as big into it. Like, I think it has great parts, and you know, I'm happy that there's finally a song that I'm not belting at the top of my register for all the parts. That's a nice Tyler, like you were saying, it's like finally the guy is just like not screaming the whole time. And
Hey,
Chris,
those are your words,
that,
not mine.
No, I know, but it's a nice break. It is a nice break in the verse to hear that part. But I like it. I think it's got some redeeming qualities. But if we were talking about my list, I don't even know if you want me to do a list at the end of this. But if I was this would not make the cut on my list.
But you know what, Tom? Like you say, it's too chorusy, too much chorus at the end. If you think back to all the greatest ballads that you've ever heard, rock ballads, hair band ballads,
power ballads, they're very chorusy at the end. They don't even know how to end the song because they'd all fade out, you know? So, I mean, I think it's taking a lesson out of the past, I guess, and using it here. So I think was there any Winger influence on this track? That's what Tyler's trying to ask.
Yeah.
Is that the shirt that the neighbor of and Beavis and Butthead used to wear? Winger?
Yes.
Todd.
Where I first heard about the band.
Oh my God, I forgot about that character.
Todd, yeah.
Oh God.
Nailed it. So, okay, we got track number 6, High Rise. Who wants to go first?
I could tell you one thing quick. If you want to share a song that started off, then you don't have to hear me rant and talk too much. But this is a track that was written by Rich Okamoto, and he is phenomenal when he writes a song. Unlike me writing songs, he comes in with everything. He comes in and says, I've got lyrics, I've got the guitar part, and he's not a guitar player. And I've got the entire structure that I'm thinking of. Now, granted, they didn't always end up exactly like that.
Sure.
But he was brilliant in terms of mapping everything out. And so this is one of the songs that, you know, up until now, it's been like Tom Keiger writing these lyrics and these songs with Josh and doing this sorts of thing. And it's nice to have this song in here because this is a Rich Okamoto original. It's awesome.
It is awesome, and it's a great follow-up to a ballad because Houston Calls has given us, you know, they just gave us a slow ballad, and then they come in swinging with a punchy and fast Houston Calls rock song. And I want to say that this is probably one of the fastest, if not the fastest song on the album. I imagine that this one has got to be an amazing time playing it live. It's a sing-along type of track for me. When the chorus comes on, Tom, I just want to sing it along with you. My favorite part of this song, I think, is the breakdown. I love the music. Again, the rhythmic guitar patterns and the lyrical melody over the top of it. And it's not too long, but you give us like just enough to want more on that melody. So, yeah, I think this is a great follow-up to a ballad. Something slow, and then you give us something super fast. Get us back into it.
I'll go next because I agree with the one thing that Tyler said is probably my main point. It's that over the top piece that really just just sticks out to me, and the harmonies too on the song really I think are awesome. But that over the top, that you have to go pretty high on that one, Tom. Like to be able to hit that note or to go that high. Is that hard to do, or is that just like
Yeah, it's hard to do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
it requires two singers, if you can tell. Like I'm singing both parts, but that's Tyler. When you said it makes you want to sing along, I'd really need you, buddy, because this one's going to require two vocalists to pull off, maybe three.
That's in my falsetto range. It's not really.
And so when you play this live, that's what you do. It's two vocalists then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha.
It's two Toms.
Actually, we had three. We switched off. We traded off tons of parts. We had to kind of map this one out for the reunions, and we did play this one in Pennsylvania too.
I remember this. Yeah, I remember this one. This was great, but listening to it on this, on the album, just sounded amazing. Like this is probably like you think about Elephant and Castle. We gushed about that one. Amtrak Is For Lovers. Like I'll be honest, like maybe it wasn't my top of the list, but this brought me right back. This High Rise, and I think maybe it was just the vocals. Maybe it was just the pace of the song. I love the energy. Love so many good things here that kind of bring you right back into it. So I love what you guys are doing with High Rise. And also there could be two Toms, to your point. It is 2023 going into 2024. So it is the future. We have AI. We can make that happen.
Is this robot Tom right now? Do we have the real Tom?
Can't say.
Oh, see, all right. That's not suspicious at all.
Am I? Me and John, right? John, you want to go? Me, you, me.
You go.
Me, you. I don't have a ton of notes to this song. I love the heavy on the synth in the beginning. It's super fast. The pop punky chorus. I'm not gutted inside that you didn't like Amtrak for Lovers as much as I did. Everybody, Tom, just Tom. But I totally agree that after a ballad, this kicks us like right back into gear, and it's super enjoyable.
Yeah, and having the physical medium of the record, it opens side 2 on the record, so it's just picks right back up kind of where it left off. So you have the ballad to end side 1, and then side 2 starts out with this. It works perfect. Sequencing.
Absolutely.
You didn't know it was going to be on an album when you wrote it, but yeah.
I didn't even think about that until you just said it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it worked out
it
well.
sequences out really, really nicely. So
shows I haven't even put my own vinyl on yet. Getting around to it.
Yeah, you have time. So we're gonna round part 2 out with track number 7 with One More Won't Hurt. For me, like this song, I think starts out a little deceiving. You get a nice guitar riff at the start, followed by a slow keyboard riff. You think you're getting a nice kind of laid back song. You kind of get that vibe, but when the chorus hits, you realize it isn't a laid back song. At least it's not going to be as laid back as what you originally thought. And I feel like it just feels that way the rest of the way, and up until the second verse, and it's just rocking after the second verse. And I think we can thank the rhythm patterns of the guitars again. Again, you guys do something special with the guitar patterns that you guys play, especially during the outros and the chorus. You definitely notice the guitar rhythmic patterns there. You hit us with the 4/4 strumming patterns, and on the last part, you break it up with a broken up guitar rhythm, which makes for a really nice transition into anything you want to do afterwards. So it kind of opens up the song, I feel like, to be free to go into any type of melody you want after that. This is just another solid song, and I feel like it's a real good album song. Like not like a filler type song, but I wouldn't say it's a core song, but it fits on the album so nicely, and I think it holds the album together nicely. I think that's the best way to put it. It's one of those songs.
Yeah, I think the riff for me is fantastic. And I just love the mix of the guitar with the piano in this track. And I love a drinking song, guys. And it's okay to make a drinking song that's not as obvious as like, if I get drunk, I'll pass out on the floor now, baby. Like you can make one that's got a little bit more to it. And this one is so much fun to sing that chorus. It's a pretty long chorus. The song itself doesn't seem long. It goes pretty quick. And it's real easy to sing along to. So I'm a fan of a drinking song.
I'm a fan too. I love the misdirection. I like songs that start off different than what they end up being. So double thumbs up for that. You mentioned Keystones. Obviously, you're talking about Keystone Ices, not Lights.
No, I'm not. Light.
Well, either way, good choice. I've had a couple of those in my day. And also, Tom, is this a Christmas song? Could you consider it a Christmas song? Maybe it could be.
I think he could. I think he could take it there.
I'm gonna listen to it at Christmas this year and see how it kind of feels. See how that goes. I'm gonna let you know.
I feel like this one lyrically it could have been tempting to kind of have like a slowed down tempo to it, but I kind of like that it's not, and it kind of maintains the pace of the record, even though it's kind of a heavier material lyrically than some of the other songs. But I like it. I like to drink too. I don't like Keystone, but I do like to drink. Yeah. I think my aunt drinks Keystone Ice, which is pretty alarming.
Chris, there's your partner.
You don't like
Your
it,
ice
but
partner.
he didn't say he wouldn't drink it. He just said he doesn't like it.
If it was in a keg, I'd probably drink it. I don't care.
Yeah. There's always a solution.
I mean,
Yep.
that's but it's funny that you're talking about kegs because this is the very first song that we ever wrote as Houston Calls, and actually this was written as our old band. This started the conversation to become the band Houston Calls. Their opening riff, I wrote that and I brought it to a practice for our old band called Face First. That was a ska punk band. And we were writing songs in Rockaway, New Jersey. I remember it very well because I brought that opening, it's just a chord and just kind of, just dropping my pinky off of the power chord and just going back and forth. And I brought that in and the drummer kind of kicked in. We were just jamming with it. And we're like, what have we done? This is awesome. Because it was like mid-tempo. We never really played too many mid-tempo songs like that. And after we kind of just heard that together, it seriously started the movement to change the band and to become that band. That was it. And this is one of the few songs that we've written that I can remember very specifically where I was sitting writing it in my college dorm room. That's why I was talking about when you were saying kegs. I was sitting in my college dorm room at University of Delaware, and I remember, and it ultimately became like all my college friends and my like theme song to drinking Keystones. And that's what we used to drink all the time because all these guys from Delaware that I met, that was like their beer. I'd never heard of it and being in Jersey. Like, what is Keystone Light? I don't even know. These guys were so into it. Turned out to be the beer of choice for all these guys. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I was always really into this song. This was and I don't know if it's a sentimental piece for me, but I was patting myself on the back so much for the lyrics, and now I look back, I'm like, you're an idiot. Like it's just silly. Like talking about the lyrics, I was so proud at the time. I remember of singing that line that's like saying things planned to empty cans because it was like a play on. I was talking to empty cans, but I've got 2 empty cans sitting there, like only 2. So I thought, oh wow, that's so clever, Tom. You're doing great, man. Like, where's this gonna go? And I just remember being so into that. And now I look back, like I said, it's kind of silly, but I just laugh at myself, which feels really good. But I do, the Christmas lights were actually hung up when I was writing the song. Like they were, when you put kind of tacky Christmas lights around your window or try to, and it just comes off all stupid. And then you're just like, I just like the colors. I just like it being up there. And that was what was going on in our dorm room at that time. So
It was April.
That's exactly what I was going to say is, you have the
Probably was.
preconception to leave that stuff up all year long in college. So maybe.
But this is one that is really special to me just because of that initial taking that lick to the old group and then it becoming where it became. And we had an older recording of this song that was on one of those samplers as well. So this song was one of the first release tracks. It was the recording was done by Bob of Hidden in Plainview, actually, in the studio. He recorded a bunch of our old songs for the ones we self-released, and that was really cool. And they are online. You can actually find them if you all really wanted to hear some of these. Like Amtrak, there's an old version that's kind of fun. John, you mentioned Exit Emergency. That old version is on that sampler. I think that there's a couple other tracks that never made it past the samplers that are kind of fun to listen to, but those are the 3 that made it over to the album.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to end part 2 here. We'll be back next week for part 3. We're going to round it all out with the last 4 songs of A Houston Calls' a collection of short stories album.
Rumor is Steve is not going to come back. He's just done with this album now. He's called it quits.
Stay tuned and see if he returns.